Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, July 14th, 2022. And I don't know if she's on yet, but I'll say it later, just in case she pops on late. But my baby sister, biological sister, I have other adopted sisters that are younger, but my biological sister, of whom the womb both of us came out of, Mama Java, it's her birthday today. I got to remember how old she is, 78, 2022. My sister's 42. My baby sister is 42 years old. Happy birthday to you, Tamisha. Let's go in the comments and see who's in so far this morning. Dow Drumright, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Auntie Java, good to see you in the room. Thank you so much. Glad to be home. Glad to be back in the, I guess, studio here at the house, and we'll talk about that later. Dora, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Stacy, good morning. Inbox me, connect me with that brother you posted about, because I'm sure a lot of Java fam will want to hear some advice about parenting teens. Clint, good morning. Good to see Cliff, rather. Good morning. Good to see you in the room. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that share button and invite folks into the Java Cafe. In just a few moments, we're going to go into your responses in reference to a question I put up earlier about your thoughts about the Boston police commissioner, a black man, a 30-year vet, someone who was assaulted by fellow officers. And my understanding, there are still two officers on the force for which he'll be their supervisor. So that's going to be interesting. But listen, before we get into that, let's also express some gratitude. It is Thankful Thursday. I want to publicly apologize to one of my good brothers, a city official, Kyron Owens. He reached out, and Tay went on and set him up for this morning to come on. And I'm looking at the calendar, and I'm like, I haven't publicized this. So Kyron, I'm publicly saying to you, I apologize, but we will get you on here to talk with the community about emergency preparedness. Okay, everybody. Do me a favor in the comments, put happy birthday to my sister, put love, put the little party hat and all that other stuff. My baby sister is in the room, and she's 42 years old today. I know you're not supposed to ask or tell a woman's birthday, but yeah. Happy birthday to you, Misha. I love you so much. And your testimony and coming through cancer and things like that. Definitely appreciate you being transparent about it. And maybe one day we'll have you on to talk about it with on your Healthy Java. Anyway, it is Thankful Thursday. I'm thankful for my sister. I'm thankful for safe travels. I want to also publicly thank the Massachusetts General Hospital for their gracious partnership. I want to say somewhat a donation, but there's work to it, so it's not a donation per se. But thank you to the Massachusetts General Hospital Office of Equity and Community Health. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There is a testimony. There's a very wonderful. This thing is. I hate when my hat and glasses and stuff are crooked. I'm so sorry, but yes, call me vain or whatever. I just hate for it to be crooked. Anyway. Thank you to Massachusetts General Hospital and all the other folks that, and I won't get into naming names right now, but Massachusetts General Hospital has been my biggest supporter. So Misha, maybe we'll have you come on and talk about your healthy Java and talk about that. But listen, before we get into the police commissioner actually, let's end with the gratitude. So we end on a good note, because unfortunately there's some stuff we need to discuss around the this is, so I guess I talk with my eyebrows, with my forehead. And so every time I move something, it moves with me, and it's so aggravating. All right, let's see if it stays still this time. So I put a post up earlier before I came on this morning. And the post that I put up was, what are your thoughts on the new BPD commissioner? And I'm going to share those with you right now. Those thoughts included, I'm not familiar with him. Somebody said it should be you. I don't have any law enforcement experience. Ain't no way in the world. One of the other comments, I think the fact that he has so much experience within the BPD and his personal experience, in which we're going to talk about that, but time will tell. I agree. Excited that he's black. I thought it said back. Excited that he's black and had experience from outside Boston. National news for sure. Congrats to Mr. Cox, paying close attention. So it did make national news because it was on CNN this morning. The press conference was on CNN this morning. And so they're paying attention nationally to what's going on. And Michelle Wu, the mayor, was just on CNN a couple of weeks ago in reference to the supremacist march that happened. You know, the weak dudes that came with their face covered. And, you know, some of the law enforcement folks probably weren't able to do right because they had, as someone said on Facebook, they had to go home and change their clothes. Anyway, Kelly said, I'm here for the comments. My cousin, Miss Little Mike, mind blowing at first because of what he went through as a detective, but we shall see. Sarone from down south that used to live here, former BPD cop who infamously was known for getting beat up by BPD when he was gang unit. Glad it's a brother and someone from around the way, but he is still BPD and still dealing with that union. So only time will tell. Some of the hardest people on young black men or well-off older black men. It's an interesting comment, brother. I want to go a little bit into that. Tony Rome commented, when you get your ass beat by cops like he did and stay on the job. That's the comment. Domingos, who you know has been in a Java cafe before, him and Heidi had an interesting exchange. Domingo said nothing will change. Same old BPD. Give it a day or two and some dirt about him will come out. If you all remember when Kim Janey appointed, oh God, what was the officer's name? I want to say White for some reason, but a black man got nominated by Kim Janey after what's his face, the cowboy, the hat wearing, the former commissioner, Gross. She appointed him, and then BPD went and all of a sudden leaked some dirt to the media about some domestic violence issues. He's currently suing the city for not getting the job. And so I'm interested to see how that plays out. So Domingo said what he said, and also Heidi chimed in and said, Domingos, there have already been negative info about a hostile workforce and retaliation. Domingo said there's more to come. One of the officers that beat him up is still on the force. I wonder what his rank is. I presume what Domingo meant to say. Heidi said, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Interesting for sure. I actually remember when he was beaten up. I got to go back and look at that. I kind of remember a little bit of the story, but I want to go back and look at that. Domingo says BBD has so much dirt and scandals within the department. There are hundreds of white officers pissed right now who will be looking to share. Heidi says, agreed. Auntie Paula, who I tell y'all, you never have to wonder what she's thinking about. Domingos de Rosa, actually, I saw a news story saying that 2 of his offenders involved in that beating are still on the force. Like you, I'm wondering what their ranks are now. Pat Williams said, I love it. Pastor Marion, who's in, welcome, sir. All the negativity and looking for dirt on him is not fair. And if he's forgiven his offenders, so should we. Move on. Let's work with the man and see what he will and can do. Hopefully there's a shift in the force, seeing that he is black. There's going to be some pushback. I'm intrigued by his history. Kenya Beeman says, very involved in our community. I'm intrigued by his history with Boston Police 25 years ago and his plans moving forward. Congratulations to him. Rob Perry, a black man at the head of one of the most racist organizations in the country. Good luck. There should be a law that bans any racist from holding a badge and a gun. So these are the comments. I'm curious, if you didn't have a chance to comment on the post on Facebook, comment here. What are your thoughts about the new Boston Police Commissioner? I'll share mine in just a few minutes, but let's go in and catch up with the comments. Thank you all so much who have said happy birthday to my baby sister, Sister Debbie, Evelyn. She said thank you. Lasagna, thank you for saying happy birthday. Also, Soraya, she's saying good morning to everyone. All right, let's go into, Cliff is saying he got appointed by Marty and Madam K. Cliff, thank you for the clarity. You know, we've had so many mayors this past couple of years. Yeah. But let's keep it 100. Kim Janey probably had to shut it down or felt she had to shut it down because of the union. And so the comment that Saran made is real. I'll give my commentary in a minute. I'm going to say that before we go into gratitude. Tay, good morning. Good to see you in the room. What are your thoughts, you guys? If you didn't get a chance to comment on that post, what are your thoughts about the police commissioner? He's a 30-year vet. He left and went to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to be the police commissioner there. I don't know if they went after him. And let me tell y'all something about Michelle Wu. She's very calculated. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my thoughts now. Somewhat. So, Michelle, Jeannie, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Good to see you in the room, Miss Jeannie. As always, I'm glad that you're able to pop in this morning. Rob is a hater. Rob is a brother by way of being the father of my sister's children, and we just, he's just a brother. And so they have their own, he's me, Camellia, and, I said their whole name. He's me, Cammy, and Misha's, me, Cammy, and Nikki's brother. And him and Misha just, you see, he's on here hating on her birthday, but I love their relationship and their co-parenting together. They did a great job with the kids. So anyway, Jeannie said she's in Baltimore representing Boston. Tell some of those people down in Baltimore about Java with Jimmy, Miss Jeannie, so we can go ahead and continue to go national. Okay, so let's go back. This young man, and y'all know I do stuff in real time. Let me see if I can get some information just so as I refer to his terrible beating. So in 1995, daggone Globe gets on my nerves. I got a membership and I'm not signed in here, so I can't. Anyway, in 1995, there was an incident where he was beaten by the gang unit. And so with me saying that Michelle is very intentional, I will say this. The mayor and I had communicated over the last week or so. I expressed some things to her, some frustrations. She responded, kept it very real about some things that's going on. And one of the things that is so obvious that she's dealing with, that Menino, Marty, Kevin White, Mayor Janey didn't deal with it because they knew she was interim, I guess, or whatever. Not as much. I'm sure there was some racism that she dealt with. But one of the things that the mayor named was this supremacist, anti-Asian woman, a progressive, a millennial leading the city. And in her being calculated and strategic, what is the purview? What is the perspective of a black man that's been in BPD for 30 years and 7 years ago was beaten by his coworkers? That experience coming into the role of commissioner, let me tell you something, Linda. There is going to and let's just keep it 100. I know Greg Long. Greg Long is the superintendent in chief. He held the fort down. Shout out to him. I just know that traditionally within BPD, there's always a split, and it's usually two. It's usually ones that favor the chief and ones that favor the superintendent in chief or someone right under them. And when before Gross, no, not before Gross, when I think it was Ed Davis got appointed by Mayor Menino, the reason Mayor Menino couldn't appoint Paul Joyce, or I forgot who the other one was because there was this split and BPD was just going to go crazy. And so I would hope, and I've heard some interesting things about Greg. Now, when I've talked to him, when I dealt with him, when I served on the police commissioner's social justice task force, talked with him a lot there. I just know that we need to cover this brother. I'll leave that right there. My further commentary on this is I'm hopeful as a black man with the fact that we have the Black Men and Boys Commission, of which I'm one of the commissioners. And so we can start bringing some attention. You got a black police commissioner with that experience. You got a black chief of behavioral health who will be coming on soon. Also, to let you guys know, I reached out to the press office. Commissioner Cox, elect, commissioner designate Cox is still finishing up some work in Ann Arbor. And so I'm waiting for a date to get him on the platform and talk with him. So what's up, Props? Good to see you in the room, brother. Good to see you in the room. So Pastor Marion made the point on the comment, and also here, James, if he has forgiven the officers, let's move on. He won his lawsuit against BPD. He's back with experience and knows what. And that's my point, Pastor Marion. I will say that while he has forgiven him, black men that didn't have the ability to sue, black men that have had experiences and are afraid or just don't feel that anything would happen, I hate that reminds them of their trauma. And so I know it's concerning for you in some of the commentary that we don't want to focus so much on the past and begin to move on. But we can't forget the past. It does play into our present, but I don't think it should be a hindrance to our future. We've named it. He's forgiven them. He sued and won. And so how do we support him? Pastor Marion, I agree. How do we support him, hold him accountable? Because at the end of the day, he's a police officer. And I don't want to make a judgment statement, a general judgment statement on all police officers. But in this post George Floyd and everyone else that has encountered death and racism, the value that he brings from his experience in dealing with that is a reminder. So it's going to come up. So Pastor Marion, keep pushing the thing of supporting him and moving on with the knowledge of where we're going based on where, I like that, based on where we've been. I felt that for myself. Let's go in and check on some of the comments. Rob said, I think that he has seen the negative side of his own force. So hopefully he can identify with what we go through. Rob, I just said that before reading your comment. Yes, we're talking about the police commissioner, and it's national news that was on CNN. Teresa is saying, note, it was very intentional where the press conference was held. He grew up on a house in that. So let's learn from it and sit with him like he's already suggested. He said he wants to work with us. So I got invited to the meeting and the press conference, and I was so aggravated that I couldn't be there. But there was a few folks from the community were invited to talk with him. And so I'm sure that opportunity will present himself again. Pastor Sarai saying, amen, Pastor. Which pastor? Pastor Marion. Okay. Not me. Jeannie's letting us know she's doing union work down in Baltimore. So we will need to support him and hold him accountable. And then we have to hold ourselves accountable as well. And I'm going to leave that alone. Getting to some other national news, President Biden is over in Israel today, and he said out of his mouth that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. And if you keep up with what's going on in the Middle East and the historic fight between the Palestinians and the Israelites, that's major. The embassy is there. The American embassy is in Jerusalem now. I believe he who used to occupy the White House did that. Yeah, I think he did. I'm not exactly sure. But Biden has to walk that balance line of supporting the Jewish community here in America, but then also he just met or is meeting with the Saudi, whatever he is. And so I'm sure this is going to come up. And with oil and gas prices, though gas prices have been going down for a consistent 28 days, we probably haven't felt the full impact of it yet because it's 2 and 3 cents maybe a day at a time. But the president has to keep all of that in mind, because with Saudi having such a strong arm in the oil that contributes to the gas prices and all of that, he's walking a very slippery slope. So President Biden, I don't envy your position at all. Keep it 100. Also, just to keep you all reminded, I got the official invite today via email on. So Java with Jimmy is going back outside. I don't know if you all heard that Shayna Bryant, Dominga Martin, and also Ayanna Mack, 3 Black women that led the wonderful open streets here in Boston on this past Sunday. Again, wasn't here, wanted to be there. However, on Saturday, August 6th, Java with Jimmy is doing a live show on Blue Hill Ave outside. So I got some questions into them now about, are we going to be inside, outside? There'll be a place for you, and it's closer within the community, not the seaport. So all of y'all in here, Java fam, the Mother's Board, I hope to see you all there as long as it's not too hot. And, we have you guys sitting in the sun. So more details are coming out about that. And also next week is going to be interesting because I am on the West Coast covering a national story. It's a national story for me about a local something is happening here, but I'm the only local media outlet going out with either a couple of major national news morning shows. So look out for I'll periodically be going live from the location, giving you some updates about something coming to Boston that is major. So yeah, more information is coming out about that next week. Don't forget on Monday, Props and Dr. Brandy will be doing Mental Health Mondays. I need to get with Props and show them how to sign in and all that other stuff. But Props and Dr. Brandy will be leading the charge here on Monday. Love both of them. Trust both of them unequivocally. But I got to say, as a host that's been doing this solo for these past 2.5 years, it's just interesting giving the reins to someone else. But I'm looking forward to hearing you guys' feedback about how you enjoyed it. And Dr. Brandy and Props, that is going to be interesting. It is Mental Health Mondays, but I'm sure some other things will come up in that conversation, like the Falcons and football, or is it Falcons football? Atlanta Hawks, that's basketball. So that's coming up on Monday. Teresa is saying also on the national stage so President Biden last week week before had made reference to the fact that what's going on with abortion, he was made aware of a 10-year-old who was raped and had to cross state lines to get an abortion because she was pregnant. The one glimmer of light or silver lining in that story is they caught the guy. I seen it on the news this morning. He's being prosecuted. And in all fairness, innocent until proven guilty, but I'm saying that just because it's the right thing to say. But an update on that, they got him. Teresa, also, Fox News blatantly said that the story was false and did the Wall Street Journal and some Republicans. But they found the guy that raped her. Listen, not only abortion, but LGBT, not only, before we get into that, Clarence Thomas has left a little opening to talk about the availability of contraception in general, to married couples, just single folks. So we have to pay attention to these issues. As much as props pushers on me, I definitely get it. We just got to figure it out. We have to pay attention to these issues, though, as Tip O'Neill said, all politics are local. There's an influence here. And Massachusetts right now is okay as far as abortion rights. But we can't take it for granted. And an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. And we have to also consider the economic impact and other impacts of people of surrounding states that may come here for their abortions. Is the states going to start, some of the states I've heard going to try to get the phone companies to use GPS tracking of women that go to other states to get the abortion. Listen, this is why it's so important that we, and President Biden said it, local politics, regional and national. When we have the opportunity to vote, we must vote, because this is something that's been in the works and in the plans ever since it was established. The Republicans and the conservatives and the right-wing Christian radicalists, they've been pushing toward this. They were patient because they see this for the long game. And based on where things are now, a lot of rights that we enjoy in this country, that you all enjoy as women, and that the LGBTQ community enjoys, and also for those that use contraception. If we don't pay attention, they're going to mess around and talk about you can't have no more interracial couples. If y'all knew some of the Massachusetts general laws that were still on the book, I think the chewing gum in public is still on the books in Massachusetts. So we got to pay attention, because you don't want one national law to trigger things that locally. And Massachusetts, is pretty progressive now, but do some search in them MGLs, Massachusetts general law. I'm sure there's some things still in there that, people wink at or whatever, but pay attention. Pastor Marion, as a man, excuse me for 1 second. Pastor Marion, as a man, you can't mention words like that and sniff. Pastor Marion just traumatized me, y'all. Woo, Jesus, Lord have mercy. Yes, Aunt Connie, Auntie Java, spitting on the sidewalk is one of those laws. But to Pastor Marion's point, and I mentioned this to someone last night, it is true, Pastor Marion. This brings up a subject that I touched on it, but I'm a little hesitant to go deep on it because I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way. Some men and some women have used abortion as a form of contraception. And I know that there's some philosophical, medical, maybe disagreements in there. And what I mean by that is there are some that in the moment, when it's the 9 a.m. hour, that want the full experience of the climax and prioritize that over the results of you climaxing, meeting with the woman, and the woman accepting the full climax. And some have prioritized that without considering that 2, 3, 6 weeks, 3 months later, there's a child conceived. And in some cases, folks have went to the ATM and had a procedure done. And so with this going on, men and women are going to have to take some responsibility for their sexual behavior. And away from the sexual behavior, there's been also this trend on social media about being intentional with those that you lie down with the knowledge that you may conceive a child and bring another person into this world to whom you'll have to care for, train, because we raise sheep and train our children, according to what Bishop Bragg in the Bible, the interpretation of that, train up a child in the way they should go, not raise them, train up. So we as a society are going to have to do better about our decisions when it comes to creating other human beings. Sorry, I didn't mean to go there. Auntie Java, it's not just the woman's responsibility. And the women, as much as the men need to hear that, the women need to know and practice it. Because if he don't want to wrap up and you only taking birth control, and let me talk about this PrEP thing for the LGBTQ plus community. PrEP may stop the spread of HIV, but that don't talk about the other STDs. So all this stuff, because, I'll be transparent. Sometimes I go on the dating apps and you see all this PrEP. It don't protect you from the other stuff. I don't know how I got here 9:35 in the morning, but I talked with someone last night. These Java After Darks are coming very soon. Went and had a meeting with someone who was very influential in the social media world up here. So, and nationally, to be honest with you, because when I mentioned Miami, they was like, oh, and just went in on a whole bunch of stuff. So anyway, Auntie Java is saying there is a price to pay when you play outside of the will of God for your sexual consequences. There is. And away from any biblical, religious, spiritual beliefs, there are just pure physical health risk that come into play. And so, and Auntie with all, and we've had combos. I got to balance that, for some that may be listening, that may be a reminder for them that there are certain sex SECTS that don't ascribe that they believe that their sexual behavior of love, same-sex love, love is outside of the will of God. So I just want to name that balance, but perfectly understand where you're coming from. Lifetime sentence, obligations. Listen, I never said a lifetime sentence, but I used to tell my young people having a child is like being on punishment for 18 years. And in this case, the way some of these young people's delayed maturity is setting in, or their maturity is being delayed, you on punishment for like 21 years. And what I meant by that was you're responsible for them financially, making sure they get to the doctor, making sure they're learning, making sure they go to bed on time, they're dressed, they're bathing, they're eating. Their emotional, social wellness is in a good space. And so, yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap up, you guys. Teresa, we will see a rise in death or permanent dismemberment for women trying to self-abort or men taking life. And that's not one of my usual shady sips. That's like a sip of Jesus help us. Not doom and gloom, but prior to Roe versus Wade, I remember movies and hearing stories, and I'm going to be a little graphic here, and some of the older women remember this. Women were putting hangers in themselves. Am I lying? Somebody put in the comments. And so, Miss T, that last part, which is so crazy when it comes to the gun laws. So potentially you may have a woman that, may want to have an abortion, but doesn't have access. The man may not have the money to get them out of state. And so they stay pregnant. The man may be married. The potential that Miss Teresa raises is real. And so we have to keep that in mind. Thank you, Naraki. Uh-oh. Lasagna says it doesn't stop at 18. You're a parent until last breath. Absolutely. And ask me how I know. Morning, son. Called me yesterday. Just checking on you. So parents, yes. But what I mean is that they're, you got a 30-year-old that you still trying to get to bathe. unless they have some developmental disability. But Lasagna, we're balanced right there. Perfectly agree. They were doing turpentine. They were taking it, like ingesting it. Ooh, Jesus. You're right. As well as inserting so they would, ooh, Jesus. So, y'all, and I know there's philosophical differences about abortion or not, but that's between them and God, not us. Women deserve the right to choose. I don't personally like the term, the concept around abortion. Is my personal belief at the point of contraception, at the point of not inception, at the point when the egg and the sperm come together, life is created. As James Hills, I believe that. However, my belief shouldn't supersede, as first of all, as a man, shouldn't supersede a woman's right to choose whether rape or incest or not even having that. Let me get ready to wrap up this morning. Conception. Thank you, Auntie Java. Conception. Surprisingly, I know a lot of men who have done it. That's crazy. And Pastor Marion, it is, I won't put that on the screen, but it's in the comments. There is a belief that is. But at the end of the day, if that is your belief, like in other things, let folks handle that between them and God. And I know that there's a notion, well, Jimmy, if you saw somebody walking up on the street to someone and they would get ready to shoot somebody in the head and you had the power to stop it, would you stop a murder? I know that notion is out there. Kind of different, but women still have the right to choose what they're going to do with their bodies. Very complicated situation. And this is probably going to be a topic for, unfortunately, years until either Biden puts more justice. Y'all don't sleep. Before this administration is over, do not ever be surprised. Two things. One, that Ketanji, Chief Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, while there is a majority of conservatives, these Supreme Court justices have discussions and they present their perspectives in case law to one another. So with that black woman on the Supreme Court, some of these conversations are going to change. But the thing I was going to say is, don't be surprised if Biden ups the number of Supreme Court justices during his administration. All right, I'm going to get ready to wrap up. Dina, good morning. I came late, so I'll rewatch to see the info on the new police commissioner. Absolutely. I read your comment. Teresa is saying it makes you wonder if this is a form of population control because they know some people will take them. Oof. Listen, it's not too far-fetched. Auntie Java says apples and oranges. There's yeah. Yep. Lasagna. God gives us choice, free will. Howsoever, it's been you and your God, not me and you. It's between you and your God and not me. That right there. Auntie Java says population control, many programs designed just for that. Staying on the wall. We have to. And also, while speaking of staying on the wall, I need you guys to do me a favor. She's my friend and sister. I attended the event. I'm a member of Boston While Black. And so tomorrow, I just felt led to go to Lawn on D and just walk around and pray for peace, for Black joy, and safety. Boston While Black is having the big family reunion at Lawn on D on Saturday. And with what's happened in Buffalo, Uvalde, and also Highland Park, Sheena, U.S. Attorney Rachel Rollins, and Mayor Wu are having a session, I believe, today or tomorrow at 5 p.m. to talk about public safety. So Pastor Marion's point of on the wall, I need you all to generally just pray for everybody, Java fam, the world, but also please specifically keep in mind peace and safety on Saturday. There are a lot of events the wife who don't come in here no more. I Blossom is having their Double Dutch event. Save Our Streets is having their basketball event. There's the Roxbury Unity Parade on Sunday. Don't forget, for those of you that can make it, yours truly is receiving the inaugural Sarah Ann Shaw Media Award. And so, yes, Dr. Quincy, you have some strong brew for me, brother. I'll hit you as soon as I get off of here. Teresa said, we are indeed in the last days, and we are. And I'll get off of this, and our church folks will appreciate this. I don't hear a lot of people talking about eschatology and end time thing. I don't hear it now. Am I always in a setting and in church to hear? But I watched some stuff on what you call. Oh, this was spiritual, because I was going to reach out to you, Tashad, and so we both will be on Saturday. I'll be having a good time. Walking around in the back of my head in my spirit, Jesus, 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 like the Celtics are playing. No, sir. But Tashad from Boston While Black is in the room. Good to see you in the room, sis. I announced the session that's going to take place with Sheena, Rachel Rollins, and Mayor Wu tomorrow. Pastor Marion, not anymore. What was that? New, not anymore. Oh, yeah. Pastor Marion, they're not talking a lot about it anymore. And whether, different beliefs or not, it is the church's responsibility to cry aloud and spare not. And I'm going to behave. Probably, I will text you, Lasagna, and let you know, and depending on how much time you got, we may be able to eat as well, because that place is right across the street from the other place we went to last time. I got a plan. All right. Teresa said on a lighter side. So, yes, on a lighter side. And before we go, can you all do me a favor? It's Thankful Thursday, and I said that at the end, I wanted to intentionally wait till the end so we can talk gratitude. I will preface the gratitude with this. I'm struggling because I want to fully tell you all the blessing, the amount of blessings that God has blessed the platform with. But then there's a part of me that's like, yo, you don't want to do that. It'll draw haters. It'll draw people with their hands out, and the money's not intended just to give it out. It's to promote and do better with the platform. And so, it's just, we have to do better as a society, to celebrating one another. And also I got to get to a point where I'm comfortable enough to say whatever, and I don't care. Some things I am, but when it comes to that, I'm just a little hesitant. But know that there's been a blessing. So anyway, let's get into the gratitude. And one of the things we can do to transition, I don't have the picture up and ready, but Teresa and I joke about squirrels. She has a couple of friendly squirrels with her. I'm sitting in Miami eating at a nice little outside restaurant. The squirrel was jumping from the empty tables or tables where folks had left food. And this dude was comfortable just sitting there eating. And I sent Teresa a picture of it. And so that's our little thing there. But as we get ready to celebrate gratitude, folks, put some gratitude. What are you thankful for this morning? You can do one word. You can do a couple of sentences. Cliff, do not put 8 paragraphs. Messing. But let's end with some gratitude, everybody. We went to Miami. Thankful for truth. Sister Soraya is saying, I am blessed and grateful to be a part of the Java with Jimmy fam. I'm grateful for you being a part, Sister Soraya. Put some more gratitude in here before we wrap up, guys. This is our last session today. Before we come back on, actually, I won't be back Monday. You all won't see me until bright and early Tuesday. And the only reason why I say bright and early, because I'm going to be in a different time zone. And so you all will be fine here. But yeah, anyway, I think that's it for me. I posted the events that's taking place this weekend on the Java with Jimmy page on Instagram and also on Facebook. Ma says she's thankful for family. Quincy says he's thankful for freedom. Lasagna says grateful for the love people have shown me and my family during this difficult time. Much love to you all. And Lasagna, I may not have the date right, but around that first week in August, we got you. Oh God, I remember being in Miami and seeing that. Teresa says, thankful for having a clear mind and making the right decisions. Absolutely. And Teresa, I want to publicly thank you. We had Dr. Obari on, I think it was last week. And I put a solicitation out for folks to support the event. Lord, y'all don't ever ask Teresa to support or do something. Lord Jesus, she's a gem. So Teresa, thank you publicly for that, for supporting what happened there. Thankful for having a clear mind and decisions. Absolutely. All right, folks, I'm done for today. Thank you for tuning in. And we will see you on Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. East Coast time. I'm 3 or 4 hours behind. Lord have mercy, Jesus. We'll see you on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Don't forget to come in and hit share and support Dr. Brandy and Props on Monday for Mental Health Mondays. Thank you all for the prayers of covering, especially my mother, while I was away. And I think that is it. We'll see you Saturday at Lawn on D, possibly at I Blossom. I'm going to try to stop I Save Our Streets. And also on Sunday at the Roxbury Unity Parade. All right. Lasagna's giving them benediction and Teresa's over here making threats. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you all. And we'll see you on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Peace, everybody. Where is this video? All right. See y'all later.